All right, we are here with Stephanie Elsing. Hi, Stephanie.
Hello.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're a very, very, very busy woman to lock down.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, we really do appreciate it. We wanted to talk about your story, and I always like to start from the beginning. So, how did little Stephanie, when she just got into the workforce, well, what were the
Yeah.
first jobs she held, and what venues do you work at? What'd you do before you got to where
Wow.
you are now?
Well, I grew up on a farm in right outside of a small town in Southwest Minnesota. So I started working. I was put to work doing chores at a very early age. My first actual job, I was 13, possibly 14. Before school, I'd serve donuts and coffee to the farmers up at our little cafe before school every morning. So start them young. If there was anything I wanted in life, my parents were very clear that we were going to work for it. Moving into graduating high school, I decided to go to beauty school and realized after 2 years of working in that field that it wasn't challenging enough. It wasn't for me, but I wasn't certain what I wanted to do, thinking that maybe I wanted to work with children. So I picked up a job at the Children's Hospital in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Fabulous, most rewarding job I've ever had. Unfortunately, I never struggled so much in my life to pay my bills. During that time, my mom had just relocated to Las Vegas because my parents separated. And of course, she dates a guy online that lives in Las Vegas. So never being before at 22 years old, I decided, why not move to Vegas for just 1 year in cocktail? I'm young, beautiful. Surely I could get a job and make some great money. Let's pay off student loans and whatnot. And I talked two guy friends into selling our cars and condensing down into one little celebrity. And we drove across the country and I started auditioning and it was horrific. I'm telling you, the auditioning in this city, never even being or visiting a big city before, was so absolutely traumatizing. It was not that easy. Um, I remember specifically one of my first interviews was at Strip Steak. I don't even know if it was for a server, food runner. I couldn't tell you, bartender, but the young lady interviewing me asked, could I tell her the kind of alcohol that was in a mojito? And I had never even heard of a mojito in my life. So right off the bat, I was like, oh no, I just gave up everything to move here thinking, I was going to start a new life for myself and this was going to be awesome. Long story short, I got juiced in, luckily. And I started cocktailing on the casino floor because I was more trainable on the casino floor, slinging, those free cocktails.
Well,
And
which casino?
10 years. Mandalay Bay on the casino floor was my first cocktailing job. And let me tell you, I was on extra board and for probably 4 months. And I got called in my very first shift in the middle of the night on a fight night because somebody had called out. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. My first shift, I'm freaking out, and I'm in the Baccarat room with Charles Barkley. That's it. So I'm slinging drinks to Charles Barkley, and he's a huge tipper and really great guy. He made me super comfortable. But after tip out and heading home for the night, I was like, I just made $1,400 in cash for doing absolutely nothing. I think I could do this for a while. Like, I'm going to be really good. I got in, thank goodness. And now that I'm in, I'm going to stay for a little bit. And then, fast forward 10 years, I was still doing the same thing at different day and night clubs in Vegas. But yeah, that's the gist of how I guess got to Vegas and worked my way into the industry. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a year, and you can't walk away from that kind of money. It's really challenging.
So your very first cocktail shift was serving Charles Barkley in a high limit baccarat room.
Yeah,
And you walked with
Mandalay Bay.
$1,400. I mean, that's like
In a swing shift on a Saturday night, walked out with $1,400 in cash. Had the time of my life. He was so fun. It was so easy. Of course, fast forward, there's not a lot of things that are easy about the industry, but it definitely gives you that taste. And somebody young and working your ass off for a month probably to even make that kind of cash it just seemed too good to be true.
Yeah, that's like the golden handcuffs of the industry.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was really unfortunate, but at the same time, I'm so thankful for all of it, you know.
So
It led me to be where I am right now.
so now that first shift, you know, making $1,400 at Charles Barkley, and then what was your like next shift, like the slots and like,
Oh God, yeah.
were you
Oh
walking
God,
like
yeah.
$14 or what?
Brutal. Yeah, the in-call last-minute day shifts, walking around Mandalay Bay, just, you know, passing out a couple coffees here and there, and yeah, it was a little disappointing, but overall, it was pretty good for a first job. I learned a lot. Um, Luckily, my boss at the time, the cocktail manager on the floor, really liked me, and he pulled me aside after my shift one day and he said, "I need to be honest with you. We are going to cut back on staff, and our extra board's going to pretty much disappear. And I don't want to lose you and a couple other girls. And I want to see if you'd be interested in possibly working out at the pool." And I was like, huh, I've heard it's 120 degrees out in the summertime here. And I don't think I want to be caught dead in a bathing suit. Like, I don't know. I don't know. No, I don't think I can do this. And he's like, okay, well, good luck getting another cocktail job, Steph. You're going to turn down something really good. So he walked me around the pool, basically just talked me into it. And I was thankful for him for doing that. So I ended up transferring out to the pool for the pool season. Loved it. It was a whole nother ball game. It was such hard work, such long hours, intense heat. I loved it, but I passed out a couple times my first year like a rookie. But then after being down there for 2 summers outside, they moved me up to Maria Beach Club. And that's where I kind of got into the adult pool aspect of it and got to see what that's, and working with VIPs and things like that. So absolutely loved it. But I don't know. I look back now and I feel like it was 30 years ago, but I mean, such an incredible job and good experience. And I hated working in a bathing suit, but what do? You get so used to it. After like the first 2 shifts, you don't even realize that you're strutting around naked in heels, you know? It's fine. Sweating your ass off, like you don't even realize it.
Yeah, I think only in Vegas you wear heels and a bikini.
Yeah, it's
Every
unreal. And up until the very last cocktailing shift, I never could get over like how bad your poor, you know, feet hurt after every single shift. It didn't matter how great your boots were or what kind of soles you had. It's a lot of work strutting around in those things for so many hours.
Yeah, how's the deck at Maria too? Because I know the Hard Rock, we had like the flagstones, those uneven, so girls are like tripping all the time.
I'm so lucky. They just redid the decking when I went up there. So Maria, I had found out had been around for years. I just didn't know what it was. And they had just redone the pool decking. So it was really like nice, like condensed rubber. It was really easy to walk on. It was very slip resistant.
Nice.
Yeah, but somehow I got conned into, sorry, my dog hates it when I'm on the phone. She's like trying to crawl on my lap right now. She's huge. Get down. It's, how do I explain this? My partner I was a cabana host instead of cocktail waitress because they were separate departments. As odd as that sounds, it was ran separately at Maria. So you're either hired as a cocktail waitress or you're hired as a cabana waitress. So I did cabanas with one other girl, and we had 9. And we have these cool private villas up top of their like restaurant and outside casino, and it's super private. And she happens to get knocked up right away. And we split our tips from our 9 cabanas. So all summer for 3 summers straight, I basically was working the 5 cabanas upstairs, and it was easier to run half the time up the stairs than it was to wait for the elevator. So I got such a killer workout going up and down constantly, but fabulous. The things I've witnessed in those villas.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
It was, you know, I've never met celebrities or anything before. So I was starstruck the first couple times until you're like, oh my God, another celebrity. Gross.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
Who's your favorite celebrity
Wow.
that you've served?
My favorite celebrity that I've served, I probably had the most fun with Chuck Liddell. I
Yeah.
actually got to paint his toenails, and uh, we were taking shots in 1942. My boss gave me permission to drink. So it was probably the most fun I had with somebody. I was probably the most starstruck serving Justin Timberlake, only because when I walked into his villa, the first thing he says to me is he stops and does a double take, and he's like, "Wow, you look just like my girlfriend." And I had no idea who he was dating at the time. So you best believe I ran downstairs and Googled who he was dating, and I found out it was Jessica Biel. But
I can
uh,
see that.
yeah, so of course my nickname after that was Jessica at work. But he set that tone for making me starstruck, because I was like, ah, he's telling me I look just like his girlfriend. Yes, I'll take it. And then I got to know him really well because he was a regular. So I, of course, wasn't starstruck after that, but
Yeah.
he's probably the most starstruck. Yeah,
Nice.
he's a big one.
What celebrity is the best tipper?
Best tipper. Well, Charles Barkley was definitely the best when it came to gambling. Um, Celebrities aren't known to be the best tippers, but I find that fighters and boxers, all the different fighters and boxers I've served, are extremely generous with their money. I don't know if it's their history and them as a person, but anytime I've ever served, a boxer, or an MMA fighter, I mean, they're all extremely generous. Chuck Liddell was probably my largest individual tip for per tab, I guess you could say. I would have to say him as well.
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of
Manny
celebrities.
Pacquiao was huge too.
Oh yeah?
Manny Pacquiao was pretty big. Andy left us the boxing gloves.
No,
Gave our
wow.
manager the boxing gloves after the fight. That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully you
Yeah,
put those in a safe place. And if he hears us at all, I want to see those, Jay.
right?
I want to make sure he didn't sell those, because I know he got them. All of us were so jealous, and we're like, what? He's giving them to our manager.
They're on eBay somewhere.
Yeah, probably. It's probably made a fortune.
Especially probably this year.
Yeah. Yeah, those
That's
are probably the biggest tippers though.
that's what a lot of people don't think about celebrities. Obviously, we've dealt celebrities a lot in Vegas and in nightclubs and stuff. A lot of them, some of them are very, very poor tippers or don't understand what a tip is or even know how to pay a bill. And other ones are very, very generous. So it kind of like I always like to see the good and bad stories of celebrities and celebrity encounters.
Yeah, it's definitely an odd mix. I think the majority of the time, celebrities aren't really the best of tippers, or maybe they think that other people are taking care of it, or that we should just be lucky that they're there. It could all be. Needless to say, you want the fighters in your cabana.
Yeah.
The
And to
fighters
protect
are
you against all the
humble
scumbags.
ones all the fighters are the humble ones, and they're really generous.
That's
And they're
awesome.
most fun to serve.
Do you miss working in the industry?
I have moments. I miss the social aspect of it. Um, the easy cash flow. Yeah, of course. Sometimes I think about it on big holidays. I also know that the industry isn't what it used to be. When I was in the industry, at least for the most part, we killed it. I bought my house. I paid my way through college when I went back as a cash student. I really wanted to make sure that I was not just throwing the money away, even though we definitely had weekends where, you'd see us in a random city and you'd probably think we're millionaires the way you throw cash around.
Oh yeah.
It comes in so fast. You think it's going to always come in that fast, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think
I definitely miss it.
I think we were all known for that for sure. I mean, like San Diego loved me and all my friends a lot. San
Yeah,
Diego, Cabo, like those the quick trips,
the quick trips.
Oh yeah.
Just throw the cash around. I had nights of gambling and, getting chauffeurs in LA, going to nightclubs, getting bottles. And I'm like, why would I even throw money around like that? It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Because you can. It's coming in that fast. And you, a part of you on a vacation wants to live that lifestyle of what you're used to serving on the regular now.
Yeah.
So you kind of let it get to your head. And some people can't reel that in, and they continue to do that. Or they just need to pack up and get out of Vegas because they're going downhill real fast, you know?
Which I'm sure you've seen a lot of. I saw a
I
lot of
have.
people move to Vegas, small, come from small towns, come to Vegas, start making all that money, going crazy, and then this town eats them alive, and they pack up and go back.
It's sadly, it's Sin City for a reason. Yeah, it can definitely eat you up and spit you out really quick. I know a couple people that only made it 2 months. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, if you weren't already thinking about it, you need to go back to Ohio, please. Like, this city is not doing it for you.
Yeah, it's very easy to get caught up in the scene and the industry and all that fun stuff. What do you think your favorite part about working in hospitality and your least favorite part about working in hospitality?
My favorite part of working in the hospitality, I think is easy to say, it was the cash flow. It was very easy with the money. My least favorite is, it's definitely a job you have to be in the mood to want to be there. So if I'm really not feeling like being in a party scene and you're throwing me in lingerie and hooker boots and in a smoky environment with guys trying to touch on me for 6 hours, it's definitely not a great place to be. And sadly, you don't always want to go to work. It doesn't matter how much money you make, you're not in the mood to go, and you just have to put on your happy face and, suck it up. But yeah, the touchy feely is probably my least favorite aspect of the job.
Yeah,
I don't miss that in any way. There's no personal space in the cocktail world.
Yeah, that's one thing I always felt bad about my friends. Like, behind the bar, you're more protected. So you have that 3 feet of bar, but out in the crowd, especially in busy nightclubs and stuff. I mean, I heard a lot of horror stories for sure.
We're forced, say we get sat 3 tables, we're forced for 8 hours, whatever that may be. We're forced to build relationships with these people and stay in our sections and actually act like we're enjoying them and showing them a good time. And some of those clients you don't want to be hanging around. I'm sorry, but it's like you got to put on such a fake face sometimes. A lot of it's fake. Sadly, a lot of it's fake.
Yeah,
some days I'm like, cool, let's go. Or you have some really fun people, but it's not always like that. You're definitely doing it for the money. No one's cocktailing if they're making $100 a day, no one's going through that.
Do you think that's what leads to so much like alcoholism and opiate addiction and stuff in our industry? Because people need to like get a little buzz to get through their shift.
Yeah, 1000%. Yeah, if I'm on a long cocktailing shift, and a lot of times at properties, I would do their day and night, the day club as well as the nightclub, and those doubles too. I'd find myself drinking lots of energy drinks, and luckily I've never done any drugs or gotten into any drugs. But man, in between shifts, if I had a 2-hour break, I am taking shots in the shower, getting ready for my next shift, and that's not something that it's just not okay to do. Or if I just had a nightclub shift, you're drinking wine while you're getting ready for work. You're trying to get yourself in the mindset of going to go rage in a nightclub for 6 hours. It's definitely wears some tears on you, and your sleep schedule is horrendous.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you said your first job was doing extra board. I remember I working day shift, graveyard shift, swing shift, and then doubling back and not doing doubles. And like your body didn't know when was up, when was down, when to sleep, when to be awake. It was toxic.
Yeah. And it got so much worse when I started my business, because I continued to cocktail for a good 2 years. So I juggled a day club, a nightclub, trying to run a business, and I was all over the place. I feel like it was just a whirlwind. I'm like, what happened in that 2 years? I don't even know. I never had a minute to breathe.
Now, if you can go back and change anything, would you change anything, or what would you change?
If I could go back and change anything, to be honest, there's nothing that comes to mind.
That's awesome.
I don't think there's anything. I definitely wouldn't be where I am today had I not worked in the industry and building the relationships and taking advantage of the cash in a positive way. I mean, once I hit 26, I started to grow up a little bit. I'm not saying that I was smart with my cash for the first 5 years, but once I started realizing, okay, I need to grow up and I need to figure out how I can do this for a few more years and make it benefit my future. I need to go back to school and I need to buy a house so I can adult in my strong game, you know? Yeah, but I don't look back and regret any of it. Of course, I could say I wish I didn't party so much, but fuck no, it's Vegas.
Yeah.
No, I don't regret
No
any
regrets.
of the sleepless nights. There's so many memories to be made, so many memories that were kind of made in blackout moments. Like, it is what it is. It's been such an experience in being able to say that I spent, you know, my 20s and 30s in Las Vegas. I mean, there's so much to be said there. So many stories that you can't even. I'm going to be the coolest, like, 95-year-old woman talking about back in my day.
That's one thing I always wish I had like a film crew on nights when I went out, because a lot of times, yeah, a lot of blackout times you don't even remember, but most amazing moments, most amazing experiences, celebrities, like,
It's crazy, right?
seen a lot.
I love to journalize, and I always try to think, like, is this something I would, you know, write a chapter on? Is my life recently anything that somebody would want to read? And if it's not, I got to step my game up, you know? I always got to keep it interesting, and Vegas has definitely contributed to that.
Absolutely. I can't wait for the book to come out.
Yeah. You know, it's crossed my mind. I just don't think I could throw that on my plate at the moment, but maybe someday. I still got some fun things up my sleeve. You know, I'm only in my mid-30s. I got plenty of living left to do.
There you go. So now, wait, so did you figure out about 26 is kind of when you realized, okay, I don't want to do this forever? Or when did you have like that moment?
I don't remember exactly what it was that kind of, you know, triggered me, but I did have a dinner with one of my best girlfriends that I was working with at the time, at Tao in Tao Beach. And we were talking about how we should be going back to school, how I feel really unfulfilled. I love to read. I love to learn. I saw my future in doing something great and being something great. And I feel like I had put that on the back burner and gotten so comfortable. And I think what it was mostly was that I just started getting comfortable. And I've learned that that's such a scary place to be in life. And we discussed it over dinner, and I told her I was going to, so I can continue working, I was going to sign up for an online school at some point by the end of the week. And she's like, okay, we made a pact on it. And I did it the next day. I enrolled in University of Phoenix, and the rest was history. She still to this day is like, I can't believe I'm still in the industry and your ass actually did that. And I was like, I was serious. You obviously were, but I was dead serious. So yeah, I ended up going back to school, and luckily being online, terrifying. I'm not a techie person at all. So I was really traumatized the first couple of weeks until I got the hang of it, but I loved it. As terrifying as it was going back, I loved it. And awesome. Yeah, we had this business course when I was in college where we created a small business and we built it from the ground up, the marketing, the accounting, you know, the whole shebang. So while I was creating this business for school, I created Steady Hand on the side, which is my current business, taking what I was learning and incorporating it into where I wanted to take it after school. So by the time I graduated, I was already licensed through the Secretary of State and had the business up and running and had someone working for me. And I was like, done. I got it all set up. And I actually enjoyed school so much. I considered taking a year off and going back. And, you know, I ended up realizing I don't need to go back to school for anything. I just enjoy learning. So I still find myself like, maybe get my real estate license. I actually am in the process of getting my GC license. I genuinely love learning. So luckily I have that on my side for a little kickstart, but yeah.
That's awesome. And then, I mean, getting your real estate license and your GC license, that kind of coincides with what you're doing now.
Exactly. In the same field. Yeah. I don't know if I'll get the real estate one, but I definitely don't think it hurts to have the GC license. We have way too many men walking around in this city that I think spicing it up with some females in the construction industry, it is going to be a great thing. And I happened to just see it on the news recently too. And I was like, how ironic. I was saying the same thing and now they're talking about it on the news.
That's awesome. I love that.
But I've gotten comfortable this past year and a half. That's why I'm like, okay, now I've gotten comfortable again. Scary place. It's danger zone. So that, now I'm like, okay, I need to go back to school again. I need to start working, I wish abroad. I almost just said abroad, but I'm doing projects in other cities right now. So I'm starting to expand in that way and just challenge myself a little more because it's new for me. It's hard working with people that you don't know very well in different cities. And I'm enjoying it so far.
That's awesome. See, at least you have that foresight to where, okay, I'm getting comfortable, time to change stuff up, do something different so you can expand and grow. Because the comfort zone is nowhere to be at all. So
yeah, I have a good grasp of myself at 36, which is really good. I'm happy I can say that. And I know when I start feeling a certain way, I'm like, okay, bitch, you're way too comfortable right now. Throw something in there because there's no growth unless you're uncomfortable a little bit.
Well, it sounds like at 26, you had a better understanding than most people do. So that's awesome.
Yeah. I continued cocktailing for a while, but at least I knew I had a new focus, which is good. My focus was school. And it felt so good to pass algebra, out of all things. Fuck math, excuse my French, but I think that was the thing I was most scared of. And I kill it in math, but I don't know why. I'm terrified of it. So I got my best grades in all my math classes, but still didn't make it any easier, just wanted to cry of relief after every test. Like, oh my God, I'm never going to remember any of this. Thank God I just passed that.
I still say fuck algebra. As soon as you mix letters and numbers together, I was like, I remember like in sixth grade, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Why do we need to know this? You haven't even taught me how to do my taxes yet. Like, how am I supposed to fucking remember algebra?
Yeah. I can count money very well in numbers, but as soon as you put letters and number, like, what the
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We have to refigure out what's really necessary in some of our classes, I think. But
so now you said you started this side business and you're still cocktailing. How long were you doing both for?
I was doing both cocktailing and running my business. I would say probably 2 years before I just woke up one morning and I had realized I had already been checked out for a couple months. If our managers were sending a message in the group chat asking for anybody to take off work, I was waiting by my phone. I got to work. I was uninspired to upsell. It was hard for me to put on a smile on my face. I was so exhausted and so checked out. And I was prolonging it because if I work open to close all 3 shifts, for example, which rarely happens in the cocktailing field, it was like 16 hours. So I'm like, why would I give up that kind of cash for keeping my job for 16 hours a week? But I realized it wasn't about that. I was never going to give my business 100% if I so easily fell on this cocktail cash. So I woke up and I had come to this realization and I was really excited. I was really excited to go to work that night. And I was also extremely terrified because at this point now, I'm really good friends with the owners of the company. And a part of me felt like I'd be disappointing them as their lead cocktail server for so long to kind of step away from that. And I feel like I was nearly blackout when I asked to speak with them in the office before our shift started. And it was beautiful. We all shed some tears and they're like, about time. Are you kidding me? So it was great. I gave them a month notice, rocked it out, timed it just right so I can get my last little Halloween envelope,
Nice.
And then, the same month. So fast forward like a week, I'm still cocktailing. My cocktailing career is coming to an end. I decided to purchase a house having no idea where the money was going to come from. So I bought a house and I bought myself a new car to treat myself for making the decision. And then I was finished cocktailing and I lived and breathed work. At that point, it was all I had is to get myself out there and make sure I could expand and make a living doing it without having to change my lifestyle in any way. And it was awesome. It was the best decision I've ever made, as terrifying as it was. I even went back a couple months later and it was fun to go back to work as a guest and actually see my friends and hang out. And I just remember, laughing with a few coworkers and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you still have your job here. Are you sure you're not wanting this back yet? The girls made 5K last weekend." And I was like, "Keep the money. I can't even tell you how happy I am right now." Like, yeah, it took so long to walk away. It was an unbelievable, I don't know. It was unbelievably like emotional. It's just taking taking that next step and turning the page. And I didn't know what that was going to look like, but I was really excited, but really terrified at the same time.
That's awesome. And did you feel like your business really progressed once you did cut that safety net of cocktailing and stuff? So you can really give it
1,000%. Yeah, 1,000%. Oh no, I need to charge you. So, sorry, I gotta grab a charger while we're chatting here. I apologize. It definitely progressed. I was able to. It had my full attention. It had everything. My evenings started consisting of, instead of going to cocktail now, I could sit in my home office and I could, be more creative on certain projects. I could actually figure out a marketing strategy to start advertising more. I had time to, start interviewing for an assistant. I had all this extra time. Not to mention I wake up refreshed because when I cocktailed, it'd be like 4, 6 a.m. I get home. I started meetings at 8 a.m. every day of the week. It was brutal. I don't feel like my clients were getting the best of me, and it definitely all shifted for the better once I left the industry.
Yeah.
And it's such a treat to go back and visit once or twice a year. I'm not trying to go to the clubs all the time, but
you're not there every night, clocking in, clocking out. Hey, what's up?
If I have a special occasion to go to a nightclub for, sure, I'll totally get dolled up and go out with some friends. And it's a treat. It's more enjoyable. Definitely.
So you took a big risk by, you quit your job, bought a house, bought a car, and just went all in and never looked back, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. I love that.
Never looked back. I never thought for a second that I was going to go back to cocktailing because I knew it wasn't an option for me. So knowing that, I was like, no, I'm not going to rely on my looks to pay my bills ever again. I want to rely on my head, and I want people to hire me for, my inside, my creativity, my personality, whatever they're hiring me for. I'm hoping it's not my looks is what I'm trying to get
at. That's awesome. And that's what we talk to a lot of people who, they didn't really see their business really take off or their next career really take off until they cut that lifeline of, the industry. If you're still trying to juggle both, neither one of them was getting 100% of you.
Yeah, either one. And it wasn't fair to my clients for my business. It wasn't fair to me. And it surely wasn't fair to my friends that I was working for in the nightlife either. No one was winning in this situation. And I had a decision I had to make. And yeah, I just had a moment waking up where I was like, this is it. I'm done. It wasn't anything particular that had happened. It was my time. I was ready.
Now, would you say you're like just happier and healthier nowadays?
Yeah, absolutely. Much happier, much healthier, much clearer headspace. I don't know. I work a lot right now, but that's also my own fault. I pick and choose. I don't have anybody, upstairs telling me when I can go somewhere and when I can't, which is great.
Yeah.
But I love it being your own boss is extremely stressful, but it's the most rewarding thing in the world. I wouldn't change it for anything.
That's awesome. Now let's talk about your businesses. I know there's a couple, right? So we'll put links to all of them in the comments too if you're watching. So Stephanie, let's talk about what you do.
So I do interior design.
Yeah.
We specialize in wall design. We do faux finishes, murals, wall stenciling, anything that has to do with blasting your walls is our specialty. And that's steady hand painting, which is like my bread and butter. It's my main career path. Being obsessed with painting, I have a side hustle called Coat and Cover. Coat and Cover is painted denim that I do as a hobby that I charge for, but next to nothing. I'm really not benefiting at all from the painted jackets. I just have a lot of fun doing it. And Coat and Cover is terminology for different words for a jacket as well as painting, coat and cover. So I thought it was kind of creative to name it something fun like that. That's the only businesses that I'm in that collect money. I like when you say numerous businesses, I'm like, so, I have a couple accounts. I've been tapping into a couple of other things, nothing that I can necessarily talk about just yet, because I'm still in the phases of, is this going to be good for me or is it not? Because they're not really related to paint and design, so I don't know. That's me feeling like I need to challenge myself. So yeah. Of course, in my office, I have just binders of like, you know what? Go launch an eyewear line because you love eyewear. Like, go do this, go do that. It's like every day I'm like, what can I be doing more of? And I want to, at some point, sell a product and not a service anymore, because it's really hard work. And I think where technology is going right now, I think selling a product is just kind of a no-brainer if it's something I can manage to do at some point. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to be in the next 2 years, but hopefully it's fun. Business-wise, yeah, hopefully it's fun.
I think you're going to be killing it, and I think you're going to be having a good time doing it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So for people listening on the podcast, so it's steadyhand.com.
Yeah, it's steadyhand.com. A little background on where steady came from, because it's spelled STETTIE, which steady hand is kind of cute and quirky for a decorative painter. But Steady's been my nickname since I was a little girl. So on a break shift at daylight one year, cocktailing, me and a girlfriend came up with it. And long story short, so many years later, here I am. But yeah, Steady's a nickname. So half the people in my life call me Steady, the other half call me Stephanie. But yeah, it's steadyhand.com.
Awesome. And I was looking Steady Pace.
Steady Pace is my personal account. I throw some work stuff in there here and there. Okay. Yeah, Steady Pace is my personal account. By all means, if anybody's interested in seeing my life, my day-to-day life, I keep it up, try to be adventurous. I mean, I had such a good run with a couple friends that I quarantined with over COVID lockdown. But man, yeah, we were not locking down. We were on a different campsite around the countryside every other day.
I love that.
Yeah, it was fun. So Steady Pace is personal, Steady Hands business. Coat and Cover is like cheesy little, I shouldn't say cheesy. It's not cheesy. No. It's fun. It is my painting jackets clothing line.
And that's coatandcover.net.
Yeah.
We're talking about any advice that you would have for people trying to get out of the industry, or having thoughts about what to do next and all that stuff. What's some good advice you'd give to them?
My advice I give to anyone trying to get out of the industry is to set goals. Set a realistic date and be honest with yourself that you'll be completely done on that date, and visualize what that date looks like to you, and how your last shift's going to be, and what the following week's going to be, and how you're going to support your lifestyle. So things don't drastically, your day-to-day life doesn't drastically have to change. What does that look like? What do you want to do for a living? Where do you see yourself day in and day out? And I think if you just stick to it and take the plunge, just don't look back. You're going to have moments where you're going to question if you made the right decision, but you'll never look back and regret it. That's for sure.
I love that. Yeah. And that's one thing. It's once you cut the ties of doing it, go all in, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish.
Absolutely amazed. You'll give 110% to so many other things in your life once the focus is off the industry. You'll party a lot less too, that's for sure.
the mental clarity of not being hungover all the time, that'll help.
Yeah, sure. You'll probably even be bored half the time. Be like, what is my life now? But yeah, I mean, you won't have any regrets. We all have to grow up at some point. And if we just look back and see that we took advantage of the industry and the industry didn't take advantage of us, we won. So
I literally couldn't have said that better myself. That's awesome. Stephanie, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. I know you're a very, very busy woman. We appreciate everything you do.
Thank you for having me. I had such a great time.
Awesome. We'll have you back again soon.
Perfect. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Stephanie. Take care.
Bye, doll.